Lot is Abraham's nephew. He's Haran's son, the brother of Abraham, who Jewish tradition says was cast into Nimrod's furnace for wavering during Abraham's fiery trial. We tend to get to a point where we blur our boundaries and our lines. We try to bend for people. Abraham probably feels a sense of false responsibility. He's been guilted into doing what he's doing. He's been shamed into doing what he's doing. He's trying to be a rescuer. His drive for approval and let me fix it is what went wrong in his life. How many of us are like that? Oh, I just want everybody to, I want to make everybody happy. I want everybody to approve of me and what I'm doing. Guess what? Everybody ain't gonna like you.
Watch out. Well,
everybody ain't gonna like, and some of those people that are professing to like you are going behind your back doing a totally different thing.
What?
When you're out on the battlefield for God, as the pastor says, we're in a war, it's gonna be a whole bunch of folk that's not gonna like you when you start telling them what thus saith the Lord, because you're gonna step on their toes. And I heard somebody say, if you can't say amen, say ouch. You can't please everybody. You're not gonna please everybody. We can't sugarcoat what the Word of God says and try to make it pleasing to the ear. There are too many. I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, Lord, I hear you. I won't say that. There are too many people in the pulpit that are trying to talk about things that the people want to hear. The Word of God talks about it and says that those are false prophets. They're just saying what's going to make the people happy. If a preacher gets up in this pulpit and something that they say doesn't convict you, then he needs to go. That's just the bottom line. That goes for me and anybody else. There should be something said by the men and women of God that should convict you and make you want to do better. You can't be people pleasing. Time is running short. It's shorter than you think. And we have to get out of that mentality. We can't waste any more time just trying to make everybody happy.
Help me, Jesus.
His drive for approval and let me fix it. Abraham is living an imbalanced life. When we're out of balance, anything can become an external solution to calm the internal chaos. Most often we try to heal the symptoms when we need to be getting to the root of the problem. There are many excesses that we find ourselves dealing with. They manifest in us when we're living an imbalanced life. Because you're struggling with humanity. We're not perfect and we don't have to be, we're human beings, but it's only engaged in these patterns of excesses that we find ourselves in significant detriment because we're in danger of clutter. What you talking about, Evangelist? What kind of excesses? Eating too much? Overeating, binging? Chemical pleasures, drinking, smoking, drugs? Working, overworking, career as an identity, always busy, 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 doing something. It might be good work, but it certainly isn't God work. Overspending, hoarding, materialism, always trying to rescue people, emotional merging, being a savior, expecting too little. You know what, that's a good one right there. I'm going to stop right there just for a minute. Rescuing people and expecting too little. You always need to expect what you are worth. Expect what you're worth. Rescuing people. Putting up walls, emotional distancing, persecuting people, expecting too much. Thinking more highly of yourself than you are. Thinking that church service is going to stop just because you're not here. Thinking that just because you're not here to lead praise and worship, that they can't have praise and worship without me. Just because you're not here to do the Bible study can't go on without me. Expecting
Hush him out.
way too much.
Hush
Way
him
too
out.
much. One monkey don't stop no show. That's what I believe. Hey, if you can't say amen, say ouch. I'm sorry. Get off your toes in a minute. Lot represents a certain mentality that would create habits driven from dysfunction. This isn't a relationship. It's not an entanglement, which is a snare and complication. It produces controlling behavior. It produces distrust, perfectionism, and intimacy problems. He had control issues. Lot represents ungodly attachments.
All right.
Have you ever had some ungodly attachments?
My Lord.
And you know, a lot of times those ungodly attachments are our own fault.
Yeah.
We saw those red flags when we, you know, looked at him across the room and caught his eye. The first time, you know, he stood us up or whatever, and we still sat there and waited by the phone. And it goes for it goes for men as well. And we sitting there looking at the phone, praying it's gonna ring. We knew that then. We knew that, and we went there anyway. We went there anyway. Ungodly attachments. My student was saying today, she waiting on he that findeth a good thing. I said, girl, well, you keep on waiting on he. Amen. Amen. Any person that has a mindset or a habit or an attitude that you hold against God's word is an ungodly attachment. So that if you have unforgiveness in your heart, that's an ungodly attachment. Bitterness is an ungodly attachment. Malice is an ungodly attachment. Disobedience, that's an ungodly attachment. God ain't gonna tell you to be disobedient to the man or woman of God that's the angel of the house. He's not gonna tell you to be rebellious against the things that he's asking you to do.
That's right.
Because there's a line of authority. If he allowed him to be placed here, then you have to fall into submission under that authority. All of us have to be submissive at one point or another. There's an order. We talked about that. God has an order for the way that things should go. Yeah. Inappropriate distractions can be ungodly attachments. Lot means a veil, a covering, to wrap up, to muffle, to be hidden, concealed, convert, black art, magic, sorcery, and secret. As long as Lot is in your life, you're going to be stuck.
All right.
I'm going to say that again. As long as Lot is in your life, you're going to be stuck. You got to get rid of some stuff. You got to get rid of some clutter. What if and why not? But if you clear the clutter, verse 14 says, and the Lord said unto Abraham, after that Lot was separated from him, lift up now thine eyes and look from the place where thou art. He got away from Lot. And as soon as that happened, stuff just started beginning to happen for Abraham. Life is a lot like a closet. When you open it, there's a bunch of junk on the inside. I'm sure there are some valuable items, but they're usually hard to find and locate because there's so much clutter. That clutter diminishes your clarity. It robs you of valuable time. It drains your energy and your creativity. Have you ever walked into your, and I know we all got one, your junk closet where you just, that's where you hide stuff when people coming to visit. You know how you do. And you just pick it all up at one time and you throw it in, you know what I'm talking about, that closet? And then you think about it, you say, Lord, where's my whatever it is that you're looking for? And then you realize, oh Lord, it's probably in there. So you don't have clarity anymore. You can't see your way to finding that thing that you actually need right then. Because there's so much clutter that's in your junk closet. I know some of y'all might not be like me. Y'all might not have no junk closet. Therefore, you have to make a conscious decision to get rid of what you don't want so that you can make room for what you do want. Cleaning out your closet. That's Minister Sam's told us about that Wednesday. She said, take out the trash. That's what she said, take out your trash and don't bring it back. Some of the spiritual clutter, some of the issues that you're dealing with, some of your old mindsets that you're working with, your emotions and your past history, all of that stuff is clutter that you have to get rid of. You have to move that stuff out of the way if you're ever going to be able to move forward. You have to get rid of that stuff.
Hallelujah.
You know, I remember a few years ago, I went to Florida for about a month. We were providing healthcare screenings at Walmarts throughout the state of Florida. And a friend of mine went with me, and as we were there, you know how Walmart is. They have all these wonderful specials, $3 this and $5 that. And we couldn't help ourselves. We indulged. We spent money. But poor thing, she spent so much money, her luggage was heavier than it was. It was too heavy. She had to pay extra money to send that suitcase back with all that stuff that she had packed in her baggage. And I said that to say this: some of us are paying too high of a price for what we carrying around, for the baggage that we're carrying around, that extra price we're paying because we don't want to let go of our stuff.